Good afternoon and hello everyone. Welcome to Kind Malaysia 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, the Spastic Children's Association of Selangor and Federal Territory has come a long way since its humble beginnings in 1960. It has now become a vital link to bring hope to spastic children so that parents with children suffering from cerebral palsy could seek help and assistance from trained personnel. The association manages a spastic center that provides numerous services, facilities, and activities that are used to care and treat these special children. Among them are free transportation, education, and various therapies such as physiotherapy and hydrotherapy. Even till today, the association is a proud reminder of the kind volunteers and staff that offer their help and time to care for the children. It continues to give awareness programs to the public in hopes that this disorder is misunderstood and hence break down the barrier of doubts and suspicion that often linger around people with cerebral palsy. The center is now embarking on an even more ambitious program to expand its facilities as well as increase its self-reliance. So, without further delay, allow me to invite Mr. Herley Abdul Hamid, the Ambassador of Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, to begin his presentation titled Living with Meaning, the Power of Gratitude.
The biggest disability is in the mind when there is a missing sense of meaning in life. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to all of you kind-hearted Malaysian or anyone else from any part of the world. Thank you, and thank you. I can't be grateful enough for all your kind support to be together with us on this special occasion in Kind Malaysia 2021, the virtual event to connect all of you kind-hearted people, corporations, business, organizations, NGO, and anyone, and in fact any human who looked at being kind as an important part of our happiness. My name is Herley bin Abdul Hamid. I am the ambassador of Spastic Children Associations of Selangor and Federal Territory. I thank you, organizer from Kind Malaysia, for inviting us and inviting me to share a little experience and some story so that we can look at this event as an opportunity not only just being kind, but also to reflect the importance of what we are doing, why we are doing on this special occasion, on this Kind Malaysia 2021. The biggest disability is in the mind is what I've written on my book when I wrote on living with meaning about my son. 16 years ago, I was blessed to be a father when my wife delivered Muhammad Haziq bin Herley, my son. I remember I was so joyful when I heard doctor mention that, Mr. Herley, your son has been safely delivered and your wife is safe as well. I was so glad, I was so grateful, and I was in full emotions of being grateful and gratitude. I didn't know 3 days later, my son was just sleeping the whole day. My son did not feed and my son did not cry. As a first-time father, there was a joke. I was telling my wife, this is easy. You don't have to have the sleepless night that many parents would share when they talk about the experience of turning from a single to parents. But what I didn't realize actually, my son was not crying, my son was not asking for milk. My son was not doing anything, and it wasn't normal until I called the hospital, and then I was asked, Mr. Herley, you have to rush him to the hospital. It could be something wrong with your son. So we make quick decision. I was really rushing that I wanted to make sure that everything was fine. So I drove my car. I was in Ampang. I wanted to send my son to the hospital in Kampong Baru, and it was just like 15 minutes travel from our home to the hospital. I remember I was driving the car with a lot of emotion, not knowing what's going to happen, looking at my son on the lap of my wife. Little that we know, actually, as I drove through the Ampang elevated highway, I could see my son on my left with my wife. He turned from normal skin complexion to yellow, then to blue, and by the time we came down from the highway, he started bleeding. And right in front of the hospital, the bleeding was getting so severe that finally we were told by the doctor that he had sepsis, which is blood infection. The reason why I'm sharing about this story about my son in the book is not about me. It is about the various other things that happened to my son since he was born. A lot of people looked at us. In fact, I remember the experience in the hospital was really difficult, especially when doctor mentioned that, Mr. Herley, you need to be prepared because he may not be able to survive. He could have died immediately. I remember actually there were a lot of doctors. There was this doctors, the anesthetist, there was this pediatrician, there was this surgeon and so on around him trying to save his condition because sepsis has caused him to lose his sugar level because of the hypoglycemia. He could have died that immediate night on the third day of his life. The next day, the situation got worse, and doctor asked me, Mr. Herley, you have to rush him to the hospital in KL, which is just next door, HKL, Hospital Kuala Lumpur. And then immediately we transferred him to the hospital, and the first thing that doctor called me in that counseling room, I remember in HKL, Mr. Herley, you have to be prepared because he may not survive. Even if he survived, he would be permanently disabled because of the brain injury. That was the time the enjoyment, the joyful feeling of being the first time father shattered. It was very difficult for me to accept that the son that I was waiting for 9 months actually has now been pronounced either died or permanently disabled. I remember in that hospital Kuala Lumpur, the NICU for kids, for the newborn, they have like 4 levels, and then my son was put in the level 4, which is basically means the worst. And then in front of my eyes, I can remember actually one after another of the kids in the ward actually passed away. There were 1 or 2 children actually, they survived, and then finally actually it included me, which is my son. And then he moved from level 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then he went to the normal ward, and then finally went home. The son that I didn't expect, that I was really unsure whether he would survive. Finally, he was at our house, and today he is 16 years old in my house with us, and then he is what I've written in this book about living with meaning. The reason why I'm sharing about living with meaning is not so much about my son. It is not about me. It is the story that I've gone through, because we've been, as I wrote in the book, we've been to many parts of the world. I brought him to China. I brought him to Australia, to New Zealand, to Indonesia, to many parts of the world, including he was the first patient in Malaysia to be going through stem cell transplantation for children with special need, with brain injury. And then we even brought him actually to go through the stem cell transplantation in Beijing, China. And the story that I'm trying to relate, actually, this whole thing of episode of getting support, of sending him here and there for support, is not because of me. It is because of the many kind-hearted people like you. It is the people who made difference to our life. My son can't talk. If ever he is able to tell you, especially those people who were there when we were in need of help, he would say, thank you so much. And then I'm as a father, I would do the same thing. Thank you so much. I remember I was working in a company, and then my employer understood my situation. My employer provided the support, the medical support. I received a lot of emotional support as well. And today, as I look at my son, I wouldn't be able to be doing what I've done, as I've written in the book, how I was able, in fact, to help him when he was about to die for the second time in the hospital Klang, because of the situation was so complicated and bad. He almost died again for the second time because he had a PEG tube, which is like a hole on his stomach, and then it burst. And then he also passed away because when we came back from New Zealand, actually he broke his leg. And because of his complex situation, he could not have survived again. But again, today he is still with us for 16 years despite the multiple near-death situation. And in between, not only that I get support, I also sent him to Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, where I am the ambassador now. From my story to the experience of sending my son to the Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, it is all about meaningful life, gratitude, gratefulness for all the kind-hearted people that have been supporting me as a person, me as a father of a disabled son, and to the rest of other children who are getting free of charge services in our center in Petaling Jaya. It is not easy for many people to understand the challenges that we go through. And then it is not easy, not just to people or even to the parents with special children like us, but also to many other people like single mothers, people who need help, people who can make a difference to this world, to the people, and people who are making a difference to other people. And then this is the event in Kind Malaysia that we are gathering together to make a difference, especially in the world that we're living today. I want to talk about living with meaning because that's exactly what we are doing here, to create meaning for ourselves and meaning for everyone else in this world. COVID-19 has changed the entire landscape of the world. Many people died. I've lost my uncle a month ago. I lost a distant brother-in-law 2 weeks ago. I lost another family member 2 days after that. And then now a group of family members are also struggling in the hospital when they are infected by COVID-19. Kind Malaysia 2021, it is time to be kind. I can't stress enough how important it is for us to be kind. I'm telling you, I'm sharing this story actually as a person who are benefiting from the kindness that I have seen. As I mentioned, if my son can tell, I am thank you for all the support. I want to share with you exactly that is the feeling of people like me, and then like many other parents in the Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory. Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory was founded in 1960. It is more than half a century that this association has been there to support. But the existence of the organization, which today it is able to give free of charge of service so that we can encourage parents so that they don't give up. We want to make it easy for parents to get support in the form of intervention, in the form of physiotherapy, speech therapy, hydrotherapy, and multiple other sensory support that we provide in the center so that the parents can have less worry about looking after the child. This is exactly the message that we want to tell, that whatever that we are doing, whatever the services that we have been doing for the last 60 years since its inception in 1960, it is actually as a result of people like you, like many others. In fact, after I've written the book Living with Meaning about my son, Living. The founder of the Spastic Center, Dr. Lam Peng Chong, passed away in 2019. As a person who was so close to him, I remember the many stories that he talked about. Many of you may have known him. In fact, he came to the Kind Malaysia in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And many of you may know him actually, how he shared about his passion about being kind. So when he passed away in 2019, I've written another book, Living with Meaning, which is a continuation of the first book, Living with Meaning. Why am I relating to this? Being kind, being grateful, and living with gratitude is so powerful. And when Dato Dr. Lam passed away, I remember the many hundreds of children cried and appreciating what he has done, which is more than 50 years of his life, contributing and then making a difference to these children, including my son. As a father, I am representing the many thousands of other parents who are thankful to the many donors and to the many well-wishers who've been supporting the organization. I'm sure this is going beyond just Spastic Children. This is also many other NGOs that many of you are supporting in this event. The thing that I want to share today is really about the importance of doing the right thing, being kind, and then share what we feel as right, what we feel as little contribution that we can change, and then making a difference to this world. I remember this year, 2021, is one of my most difficult year. I remember in June this year, as part of looking after my son, we have a helper, a domestic helper, a maid, who stay with us. In June this year, actually, she had stroke, and then she almost died in my house. It was so difficult. One, actually, we needed more support, and in fact, we looked after my son when she was sick. But more so, actually, what I did was I shared the story of my son. I shared the story of my maid, who has been instrumental in making our life easier. I wouldn't say that we are great parents. We are trying to be good parents, and then we hope we did the right thing for our child. But even our life, actually, we couldn't have done it actually on our own. We have the support of people like our mates, our helper. And when my helper actually had stroke, I was worried that she could have died. And that was the time I shared the story actually through social media. And because of my sharing, a lot of people felt it resonates with their own life, because we talk about being grateful to what we have and reduce our complaint to what we don't have, or the challenges that we are going through, especially in the world that we're living today with COVID-19 and pandemic. So now, time to be grateful, and then we really think that everyone, let's get together and then share the story of kindness and happiness. When I shared in social media, thousands of people actually read my story, and I allowed my book to be downloaded for free, because I think it is important that people get the message of gratitude, so that it helps heal their challenges, it helps heal their sadness, it helps heal their worry about the world that we're living today. Alhamdulillah, what I experienced, I received hundreds of messages that people be thankful, because even though my story is about my son, Muhammad Haziq, who was born with disability, who is a child with cerebral palsy, but the story of challenges, the story of adversity is a common story to everyone. That's the reason why we keep hearing about mental health. That's why we keep hearing about people even commit suicide and so on. The message that I want to share with you: be kind. Try to understand people. Be empathetic when you talk to people. And the power of gratitude is actually, if you have challenges, just like me, for 16 years going through with my son, I am blessed to instead think more of being grateful instead of complaining or find it's too difficult to face the days. Through grateful, we have survived. Through grateful, I've shared this story to many other people, and then through grateful, today I'm with you to celebrate the day of being kind, the day of trying to do what we can to make the world a better place. The new norm is going to stay with us. The new norm is going to haunt many of us. And the options that we have, there's still many. Be kind, be helpful, and then do the right thing, and then make a difference to this world. From Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, I encourage you to come and visit us when it's possible, or come and visit us virtually through our Facebook. You can find it, Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, or SCASFT, or you can come to our website www.scasft.org. We would like to share more of meaningful stories from the children, from the parents, from the many volunteers, from our president, Datuk Hong, and from the board members that we have as Spastic Children. We are thank you for all the kindness that you have done. Then we really welcome you to continue working with us. There is a form that you can download so that you can donate, or you can contact with us to share some ideas, to share opportunity to work together with you to make a difference to this world, not just to all the children and so on. And then let's do that as part of the Kind Malaysia 2021. I really welcome you to our booths. I really welcome you to look at some of the photos of our beautiful children, the beautiful videos, the beautiful photos that you can come and then have a meaningful reflection on our life. How grateful you are as a human, how grateful you are able to come to this event, and then how grateful we are all to be part of Kind Malaysia 2021. Again, I thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a pleasant day for all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Herley Abdul Hamid, the Ambassador of Spastic Children Association of Selangor and Federal Territory, for the meaningful presentation.
Kind Malaysia, the concept is actually to connect corporates with the civil society. We need to understand that we have a responsibility. We did this activity, it has to have real meaning and real impact of contributing back to society, because overall will benefit the country as a whole.
Kind Malaysia serves as a unique platform to promote engagement between the private sector with community groups, offering collaborative opportunity through partnership to further enhance corporate role in humanity.
It doesn't take much to spark a revolution. Let's spark a revolution that makes a difference in this world.
Bring together all the universities to come together under our platform, and then we give up scholarships in various universities for people who really deserve it. And we have been doing this because we felt that people like y'all who do this work unrecognized deserves to be recognized. So we have these unsung heroes because we want to recognize y'all for your great job that you guys do.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce our second presenter. The National Council for the Blind Malaysia (NCBM) was formed and registered in 1986 to bring together 5 organizations to work as partners in providing more efficient and quality services to help blind people to be useful citizens. NCBM's mission as a national coordinating body is to assist member organizations in developing services so that blind people, no matter where they live in the country, may enjoy equal opportunity in receiving education, rehabilitation, and employment services. NCBM worked together with the government and groups with similar aims to reach their long-term objective. In carrying out their role as a national body, NCBM provides a platform for representatives from around the country to meet regularly on its 3 committees to discuss all aspects of work, education, employment, and public awareness. Where possible and necessary, NCBM will give financial assistance for implementing projects and the sponsoring of personnel to attend training and skills as well as upgrading courses. The mission statement of the organization is to ensure blind people will receive appropriate training and enjoy quality services of where they live in the country. So, without further delay, allow me to invite Mr. Wong Loong to begin his presentation titled Overcoming the Fear of Blindness.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the sharing session from the National Council for the Blind Malaysia NCBM. We would like to thank the management of Kind Malaysia for giving us this opportunity to share on a very important topic, overcoming the fear of vision loss. Vision loss can be considered as one of the most feared disability among all types of disabilities. However, with the strong willpower, support from family, friends, family, corporation, and the government, they can all live a fulfilling life. Vision loss can occur either during birth or later on in life due to accident or illness. So, in Malaysia, visual impairment can be defined as totally blind with a visual acuity of less than 3/60, and the second category, low vision with vision acuity between 6/18 and 6/60. So both this condition is grouped into one that is called blind under the 7th category of disability under the Persons with Disabilities Act 2008. So when vision loss occurs, the initial response will be, first is shock. Why does this happen to me? It's a feeling of shock. Second is the feeling of guilt. Probably there must be something that I've done before, or there's something wrong that I've done. That's why I become blind. So the feeling of guilt is there. Next is the feeling of blaming each other. Especially among parents, the father will blame the mother will blame the father. So blaming is also considered one of the challenge. Next is denial. Oh, it cannot be. It cannot be me, or it might not be, or maybe there's a swap of babies in the hospital. It cannot be my child, or something like that. Denial. But finally, what is important is acceptance. There need to be acceptance before we can move on. Otherwise, we will always remain in the above 4 stages and we cannot move on. And if we don't move on, that's where vision loss becomes something that is most feared. But if we move on, we can do something and we can improve our situation. So, in Malaysia, children with visual impairment can receive education. So there are some preschools now that provide some kind of support for children with visual impairment, though it is not widespread yet. However, when they come to primary education, they can go to primary school, and we have 3 different kinds of education in Malaysia. That is special schools. We have for primary schools, we have one in Penang, one in KL, Kuala Lumpur, one in Johor Bahru, and one each in Sabah and Sarawak. And special school for secondary school, we have one school in Kuala Lumpur. The second type is integrated program, which is a small class in a regular school where children with visual impairment will receive support from trained teachers. And the third category is inclusive education, where children with visual impairment attend regular classroom with sighted children in a regular school, taught by regular teachers using the regular curriculum. So they have opportunity also to attend vocational training, and for those who are well off academically, they can receive tertiary education in public and private universities. And most public universities in Malaysia nowadays have facilities or can receive students with visual impairment. So we also have vocational schools that they can go to, and also non-government organizations such as the Malaysian Association for the Blind, St. Nicholas Home, Sabah Society for the Blind, and Sarawak Society for the Blind do offer some kind of vocational training where trainees with visual impairment can receive some kind of training for employment. When someone becomes blind in adulthood, they need to receive rehabilitation so that they can readjust the way they perform their daily activities to what a blind person can do. And most of the tasks can be done with proper support. So in rehabilitation program, what we do is, first, we have orientation and mobility training, where we teach them to use a white cane to move independently. So with this training, persons with visual impairment can move and travel independently to wherever they wish to. The second training will be daily living skills, which is very important, where we will give them some ideas on how to carry on their daily activities, such as cooking, washing, cleaning their own house, going out shopping, going to the bank, recognizing the different notes, ringgit, 1 ringgit, 5 ringgit, 10 ringgit, so, and also coins. So with these skills, they can, as much as possible, live a normal life. And we also teach them, those who are blind or those who wish to learn, those with low vision who wish to learn Braille, we do teach them how to read and write Braille in Bahasa Melayu and also in English. And also the most important enabler nowadays is accessible technology. So we do teach them how to use computers and smartphones with assistance of a screen reader. So with the knowledge of ICT, they can perform most of the tasks that they have been doing before, such as sending email, browsing the net, sending WhatsApp messages, reading news, writing documents, making presentations. So most of the tasks that that all of you can do, we can do too by using screen reader. Of course, the limitation is that we cannot decipher graphics and pictures, even though there are now some software or apps that can at least explain some pictures to you. We also conduct counseling services so that they can, as much as possible, readjust their condition to their new life. In employment, after receiving training, they can work, and we need support and understanding from the public, especially employers, to give opportunity to persons with visual impairment to work. In the public sector, most of them are teachers, administrators, some lecturers, and also administrative assistant in the various government ministries and agencies. And in the private sector, the most common jobs will be telemarketers, telephone operators, which now getting less and less, and also doing office work and also sales. And many of them are entrepreneurs. They are trained as masseurs. This is the biggest group of occupation for persons with visual impairment in Malaysia currently. And some of them also become musician and also doing door-to-door sales. Okay, so we also can participate in recreational activities, religious activities. So with support from friends and family, we can go shopping, we can go visiting tourist attractions, we can travel locally and overseas. Of course, now during the pandemic, this opportunity is now not available, and also a lot of them also can participate in religious activities. So in general, most of us can carry on with our lives with slight modification to whatever that we are doing. Okay, I'm sure many of you have interacted or met persons with visual impairment before, whether either on the streets, in the LRT, or buses, or in a workplace or school. So we need to know what is the proper way to interact with them and to communicate with them. So here I would like to provide some tips on how we can interact and communicate with persons with visual impairment. Okay, first, definition of visual impairment, I already mentioned just now that there are we are all divided into two groups. The first, low vision, and the second, totally blind. So, okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So, what are some of the eye conditions? The first is corneal pathology. So, this eye condition, usually they are very sensitive to light. So if we are with them, we have to spend a little bit more time. For example, when you come from a dark place to a brighter place, or you move from a brighter place to a darker place, you need to give them some time to adjust their vision to the new condition, from the dark to light or from light to dark. We recommend they use sunglasses so they to avoid glare, and also they need to be given opportunity to adjust their vision, their condition from, as I mentioned just now, light to dark, dark to light. The second is cataract, very common among older people, but this is not a very much feared condition because cataract can be easily rectified. They can just go for simple surgery, which can be done in a day. But the only challenge now is the appointments with government hospitals is too long, and the cost for this kind of surgery is quite high in private hospitals. So usually they very blur vision and they take time to focus on object. Spectacles be prescribed for travel or outdoor activities. And the next condition is macular degeneration. Usually they are not able to read. They have no problem in moving around, and they prefer a well-lit environment. So actually it's not easy to understand different eye conditions, because different eye conditions will have different effect on how you manage your daily activities. The next is diabetic retinopathy, usually unable to read print, sufficient for vision for traveling, and they require good lighting. And I like to mention here that diabetes is now becoming a challenge because it is quite high among Malaysians. And I'm not saying that if you get diabetes, you will become blind, but the probability increases with diabetes. So the best is not to get diabetic, not to be diabetic. Okay, next will be RP, retinitis pigmentosa. So this group of people, they face problem in mobility. That means it's difficult for them to move around. Usually it's hereditary, and it is limited vision angle of vision. That means their field of vision is narrower, not as wide as people who do not have any visual problem. Next is a hemianopia. They are very poor in mobility and poor in control of their eye movement. So you can see sometimes people, their eyeball moves very fast. So these are people who we call have hemianopia. So in Malaysia, we have now registered with the Department of Development for Persons with Disabilities about 55,000. So this is far from the actual figure estimated. The World Health Organization estimates that 15% of the population of a country have some kind of disability. And so if you take 15%, persons with visual impairment probably will be what, 3% or something like that, but we are only 55,000, which is a very small percentage out of a total population of 32 million. Definitely there are more out there who are not registered, and we urge you to register, because with registration you will be issued a disability card where you can get a lot of concessions or benefits from the government and also private sector. Okay, so now let's move to some tips how to interact with persons with visual impairment. Okay, first tip is If you want to start conversation with someone who have visual, someone with visual impairment, if you know his or her name, just call them by their name, and otherwise, you just lightly tap on them and just say hello. I know there are a lot of people who will say that it's not appropriate because they will get shocked, but it's okay just to voice to say something while you tap. Of course, you just quietly tap. It will be a challenge because I will get shocked. I will be thinking, what are you trying to do? But if you say something and tap on my shoulder gently, then I will know you try to get my attention. So if you know my name, just call my name. Otherwise, just say that. Just ask whether they need help or just introduce yourself. And after having a conversation, if you need to excuse yourself, do let us know that you need to leave. Don't quietly leave, because if you quietly leave, then I will be talking to thin air, and you are no longer there. But before you leave me, you make sure that I'm in a very safe situation or a safe place. Probably you can just show me that I'm near a wall, along the wall, or near a counter. Do not leave them in some kind of dangerous condition, near steps or near open drains or near a road or something like that. Okay, always, before you leave, make sure they are in a safe situation. When you speak to when a person with visual impairment comes with a guide or family member or friend, do speak directly to the person with visual impairment. Don't speak to the person through their guide or assistant, because it is always the right thing to do, to speak directly to us, because it is us who know what we actually want. For example, if you go to a doctor, the doctor should speak to the person with visual impairment, because he or she is the one who is sick. Or if you go to a restaurant, if you want to take an order, you should ask the person with visual impairment and not ask the guide, because we know what we want to eat. Okay, next is when we speak to us, speak in a normal tone. Do not speak loudly, because we can hear you. So just speak in your normal tone and normal speed. Next, if you see someone with visual impairment as though they are needing some assistance, go to them and offer your help. Do not wait for them to ask you, because they can't locate you, they can't see you, they don't know where you are. Just go and offer your assistance. However, if they reject your assistance politely, do not get angry, because probably they are already familiar with that place, or probably they do not need your help because maybe they are just waiting for their friend or waiting for a family member to pick them up. So this experience of your assistance being rejected politely should not be taken as, okay, all person with visual impairment knows how to maneuver themselves, they know how to walk around, I don't need to ask them anymore. No, because everybody is different. If you meet someone who knows how to move around today, it doesn't mean the next person you meet tomorrow will also know how to move around independently. So do always ask them when you meet them. Okay, when you speak to us, especially in giving directions, use very specific words. Do not point your finger, because we can't see. So if I ask you, excuse me, can you show me where's the washroom? You can just say, okay, walk straight ahead 10 meters and then make a left turn and walk another 3 meters. There is the door of the male washroom, for example. So be very specific. Left, right, front, back, very specific. And if you come to the steps, do let us know whether the stairs are going up or going down, because that is very important. Just don't say, okay, they are coming to the steps. You must tell us whether steps going down or steps going up. Okay, some people think that we are sensitive, so we should not be using words like see, light, see. So we are not so sensitive, so go ahead, just use the word see, even though we can't see. See you again means see you again, no problem with us. And don't forget, when describing, do tell us colors. We do want to know, even though we cannot see, because it helps. For example, in matching your clothes, in also buying furniture for your house, or in recognizing your bag or your suitcase or your backpack. We need to know the color so that it's easy for us to get assistance when we need to locate when we need to pick up our bag from from traveling, in the airport, when we need to collect our bag from the conveyor. If you know the color, it's much easier. When guiding a blind person, when you're walking around, do be a little bit more talkative and descriptive. Do let us know what is around us, and probably what is probably whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, or things like that. Or most importantly, some danger points. For example, if there's a pole, there's an open drain, or some some kind of drop off curb, which might be dangerous to us, because when we return to the same place again next time, we at least will remember those danger points that you point out. But most important, have a conversation. Just don't be quiet. Just talk about everything that they are comfortable. Okay, so now let me just show you. Unfortunately, we cannot be face to face, so I just described that. Okay, when you want to assist a person with visual impairment, as I mentioned just now, just gently tap their shoulder, and then put the back of your hand, touch your back of your hand to the back of his hand. Okay, so both the back of our hands are we touch both the back of our hands, and then the person with visual impairment will gently move their hand to your arm above your elbow, okay, above your elbow, and they will hold your arm above your elbow. They will grip your arm with 4 fingers inside and the thumb is facing outside. After that, stand in a straight line with the person with visual impairment 1 step behind you, and you can just relax your arm. Do not fold your arm 90 degrees. Just straighten your arm. Just relax, and you can start walking. When we need to pass a narrow passage, you fold your hand, your arm at the back, and the person with visual impairment will know how to move his hand from your arm to your wrist behind. And then you can, in a single file, you can just move forward. And when you come to a wider space again, you can just walk 2 by 2, like what we described earlier on. When passing a door, use one side of your hand to open the door and hold on to the door, where the other hand is used to guide the blind person through the door. If you want to assist me to sit down, do not push me, just put my hand on the backrest of the chair, and then I will know I will touch the chair and I'll find which side I will be sitting. If there's a stool that has no backrest, just put my hand on the chair, and I will know how to figure out which direction I should be sitting. And if you want to get me into a car, just put my hand on the roof of the car. Do not just push me. And so the purpose is you put my hand on to touch the roof of the car, so that I will know how to bend as low and get into the car without knocking my head on the roof of the car. Okay, so when we guide a blind person, a person with vision impairment, we always have to think of the safety. So use the safest route and not the shortest route. So do not look for shortcuts. If the shorter route is little bit dangerous or risky, it's better to find a longer route but a safer route. And if you want to give something to a person with visual impairment, put that on his or her hand. Do not just put in front of them, but put it on their hand. Because if you show it in front of their hand, they wouldn't be able to see it. Okay. When it comes to medication, pills come in many shapes and sizes. There are bigger ones, smaller ones. There are some long, some longish, and some round. So you can explain to them by describing the shapes. And you can also use a very simple, if liquid, they usually come with a measuring cup. So in order to assist us to tell us how many times we should be eating that particular medication or something like that, it's very easy. You can use pins. You can just mark it. 3 pins means 3 times a day. 2 pins means 2 times a day. And you can also use direction to differentiate whether we should eat it half or we should eat 1 full tablet or something like that. It's all no hard rules. It's just up to your imagination. But what is important is whatever it is, you have to describe and explain so that we can understand. When serving food to a person with vision impairment, use the face of the clock, which means 12 o'clock is the furthest in front of you. 3 o'clock is 12 o'clock is the furthest in front of me. Okay, the clock must be facing me. 3 o'clock is on my right. 9 o'clock is on my left. And 6 o'clock is the nearest to me. So you should arrange the food in that order so that it's easy for me to eat and I know what I'm scooping. So for example, if you are serving a dish of chicken rendang with nasi lemak, so you can always say that, okay, your chicken rendang is at 12 o'clock, peanuts is at 3 o'clock, the timun or cucumber is at 6 o'clock, boiled egg is at 9 o'clock, and the rice is in the middle. And most importantly, sambal, you must tell me where's the sambal, otherwise I will scoop 1 full spoon of sambal and put into my mouth, and that will be disastrous. So sambal, you can say, is at, for example, 1 or 2 o'clock. So this is how we describe to person with visual impairment when serving them food. Cutleries also, you can use the same method. You can always say your water is at 12 o'clock, your fork is on 9 o'clock, and your spoon is at 3 o'clock or something like that. So these are some of the accessibility features that we have in Malaysia to assist person with visual impairment. You have braille buttons on lift or elevators. Some of them also have voice announcements. And okay, these guiding tiles is not for decoration, it's actually to help us. So the dotted one we call warning tiles. So when we step on the dotted one, we have to stop and decide and find out what's next. So dotted tiles are usually installed in front of doors, in front of counters, at traffic crossing, or on top or bottom of stairs. So this means warning. We stop and find out what's next. The straight one means that we can walk straight ahead and there's no obstacle in front of us. Okay, I think this is what I can share with you today, and with assistance from all of you, friends, corporations, the government, family members, there's no fear of having vision loss, because support means a lot to us, and we can just live a normal life like how all of you are enjoying your life. Okay, if you need assistance, the member organizations of the National Council for the Blind Malaysia, we have Malaysian Association for the Blind, St. Nicholas Home in Penang, we have Sabah Society for the Blind, Sarawak Society for the Blind, and also the Society of the Blind in Malaysia. Just contact any of these organizations and if you need help. Otherwise, if you need to reach out to me, my contact information is here, and feel free to let me know if you need any help, assistance, or if you are willing to provide any support or assistance, is most welcome. And we like to thank all of you for your support all this while. And once again, thank Guide Malaysia for this opportunity to share with all of you. Thank you very much, and we hope we can meet up one day face to face. And if you ever bump into me on the streets, do just remind me of this session and introduce yourself, most importantly. Thank you, and hope to see you again, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Mr. Wong, for the meaningful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you our next presentation. Established in 2010, Great Heart Charity Association is a tax-exempted, non-profit charity association in Malaysia. Their mission is to become a charity platform that connects contributors, volunteers, and beneficiaries to make charitable giving a part of everyone's life, and aim to provide assistance to their beneficiaries in two key aspects, in the form of financial aid as well as emotional support, so that they may be able to self-sustain in the long run. Without further delay, allow me to invite Ms. Tan Mew Wai, Event Department Leader of Great Heart Charity Association, to begin her presentation titled Introduction to Great Heart Charity.
Everyone, my name is Mew Wai. I'm an event team leader of Great Heart Charity Association. Happy to see you all join this sharing session, and I'm glad to be here to introduce what is Great Heart about. Great Heart started in 2010 as family culture in practicing charity by our founder, Mr. Frankie C, and he is now our president. And our co-founder is Mr. Rexy, and he is now our managing director. In 2013, Great Heart registered as Persatuan Kasih Sejati, and we are tax-exempted NGO in Malaysia. We strive to build a harmonious and caring society with positive energy and spread the seeds of love so that people will be inspired to do charitable deeds in their daily lives. In order to deliver our charity works to the different target audience, we have another 3 sister NGOs. They are Great Vision Charity Association, Keng Sing Thang, and Earth Warriors Association. So, who is our caring target? They are poor families, dialysis patients, indigenous, old folks, children, and OKU. How do we help them? As we can see here, we have a lot of charity programs to help our caring target. In general, we aim to assist our beneficiaries in 2 key aspects, which are in the form of financial aid as well as emotional support. First, I would like to share our grocery support. We provide long-term, short-term, and one-time off grocery support to the P4D groups. For example, poor families under Family Care Project, PPR residents under Community Day event, and Rakan Shopping Program. Rakan Shopping Program is one of the charity programs under our sister NGO, Great Vision Charity Association. For your information, PPR stands for Project Perumahan Rakyat, which the residents are low-income P4D families. Other than that, we also have lunch box for the hungry program in our community center at Tolopulai Klang, where we will give away free lunch box every day to the needy people who stay nearby our center. Last, we also have disaster relief to distribute groceries to the victims, not only in Malaysia, but also in overseas. As our mission is to link up contributors, volunteers, and beneficiaries, in this support, we have collaboration with hospital, healthcare professionals, NGOs, societies, and so on. For example, blood donation, health screening, hygiene workshop, and hygiene kit donation. The one that I would like to highlight is dialysis aid program. As we know, dialysis patients need to have a lifelong treatment, and 3 times a week treatment can cost up to 3,000 ringgit per month. This causes financial difficulties or burden for the poor families. Some even refuse to get the treatment. By providing this aid, we hope that the patient will not give up their treatment. And this is the major charity program in Great Heart. Besides, we also have traditional Chinese medical checkup for the needy as well as medical equipment support for the needy patient. Our social workers and volunteers are often to have a house visitation to our beneficiaries. Mainly is because to know more about their current situation and having a complete assessment so that we can solve their problems and difficulties in this critical time. For example, rental support for the poor families, restore home for the lonely elderly, where we gather a group of volunteers help to clean up and painting the house. Also, we have Orang Asli Settlement Project, where we build the basic facilities to improve Orang Asli living condition. There's a one quote from Chinese, 教育可以改变命运, meaning like education can bring us to a better life, and 教育可以脱离贫穷, meaning that having education can avoid poverty. As a social worker, I strongly agree that education is very important for our next generation, not only in their personal life, but also help on development of the community and also to our nation. Under this support, we have built learning center for Orang Asli children, subsidizing tuition fees, provide school facilities and supplies for the schools. Next, let's see what other education supports provided by Great Heart Charity Association.
The Hope Reading Program was initiated in year 2016. This program aims to provide the underprivileged students with co-curriculum reading materials and opportunities to develop their reading interests. The classes for the children is a 2-hour tutoring class at the Great Heart Community Center for the underprivileged children to improve their literacy skills. The Back to School project is a community project that aims to reduce the financial burden of underprivileged families and children homes by providing the children with school supplies such as school uniform, stationery set, and school bags. For You and Me educational program, Great Heart has actively collaborated with students from various societies in schools and universities for organizing community projects. Along the way, Great Heart supports the students with full guidance and funding for their charity event. As the saying goes, charity is a form of education, and the implementation of charity culture into schools serves as a jumpstart for students into organizing community projects voluntarily while enhancing their self-development and hence delivering the positive energy into our community.
Our sister NGO, Great Vision Charity Association, is aimed to inspire and empower less fortunate people via education and awareness. In PRU-KASE program, it is a free protection plan offered to urban low-income families. We also provide financial courses to increase their knowledge in financial planning. The KASE Educate program is a study aid that aims to assist poor students who wishes to further their tertiary studies by providing them a start-up assistance and monthly allowance to cover their living expenses. This program also aims to influence and inspire the successful applicants give back to the society by getting involved in and organizing charity activities. Our target beneficiaries are children from orphanage and B40 families. Up to date, we have served nearly 500 poor families in KL, Selangor, Perak, and Malacca. However, our ultimate goal is to assist them to be self-sustained and be able to contribute back to the society. Therefore, we started this program a few years ago by providing funds for them to start up their own business, in objective of helping them generate their own income. These are the 2 successful cases which they are no longer getting help from Great Heart and other people. As I mentioned earlier, we strive to build a caring society which spread the seeds of love and inspire people to do charitable deeds in their daily lives. Our role is serve as a platform to link up contributors, beneficiaries, and volunteers. Hence, we have many events and activities which gather our volunteers, contributors, and beneficiaries have an unforgettable, sweet memories. Keng Sing Thang registered as a non-profit organization in 2016 under the name of Persatuan Kebajikan Kasih Semadi. This sister NGO is a coffin donation program that provides free coffin and funeral services to the poor, underprivileged, or deceased with no family or any religion in Klang Valley. Environment project initiated by our sister NGO, Earth Warriors Association, which aims to safeguard the cleanliness of our environment. We encourage everyone to join us in delivering an important message to the public to protect our Earth for today and for a better tomorrow.
This project serves as a reminder to people not to dispose of garbage irresponsibly. The impact is greater because participants will have first-hand experience cleaning up the mess left by irresponsible people. It is important to expose the public, especially the younger generation, to practice hygiene and cleanliness so that there will come a day when the environment may no longer need protection.
I joined Great Heart since 2016, and I chose charity work because I want to help people who are less fortunate. For me, the most memorable experience in Great Heart was my first visit and assessment of a paralyzed lady. She was a master's degree holding engineer when she fell down the stairs and became paralyzed. She has already lost all of her mobility as well as her bright future. I then realized how fortunate we are to have a healthy body with which to enjoy life in our own way, because we have no idea what will happen the next day. The most crucial consideration is how we live our lives without no regrets. Along my journey in Great Heart, I have met a lot of people like volunteers, beneficiaries, sponsors, partners, students, and social workers who offer me a lot of information about their techniques, their motivation, their thoughts, and their philosophy when they presented their charity works. They taught me there's no perfect way to carry out charity, but that there is always a boundary and a set of rules that we need to follow and respect our recipients and community. In Great Heart, I have learned teamwork, respect, listening, and sharing have all contributed to my professional development. Listening is essential, especially as a social worker, in order to understand the needs and the challenge of all beneficiaries. Sharing is a way for us to convey goodwill and instill positive attitudes and beliefs in those around us. Next, I would like to share our achievement video. A big thank you to all contributors, beneficiaries, and volunteers who joined this journey together. Let's continue our good work and aims to bring more warmth to the society in the coming year.
活动宗旨其实是想要提高人们对保护环境跟爱护环境的一个意识啦，从中也希望可以呼吁大家做多一点环保。
良好的习惯必须从小开始培养，干净舒适的环境能让人心情愉悦之余，更能确保每个人拥有健康的身心发展。正确的灌输下一代爱护环境的意识，就能共同保护这美丽的家园。
好。 保护环境，人人有责。
Earth Warriors Project at Mangrove Forest merupakan salah satu tanggungjawab sosial korporat CSR yang dijalankan oleh Great Heart Charity Association dalam usaha pemeliharaan dan pemuliharaan alam sekitar.
Hari ini dia lebih kepada penanaman semula pokok bakau. Selain itu, kami juga ada kumpulkan sukarelawan kami untuk membersihkan kawasan pesisiran pantai dekat sini.
Terutamanya hari ini bukan hanya dilakukan di hujung minggu saja. Nah, ada beberapa di antara kami yang sanggup mengambil cuti atau cuti dapat gaji semata-mata untuk menyumbang sesuatu kepada komuniti.
这位嘉宾是更新慈善协会联合创办人严宜川先生。
大家好，老人他们也是一个独立的个体，他们需要被同理，需要被去理解，他不需要你施舍。我们自己也是我们自己的社区中心，然后有自己的中医师，就是都来义诊，这些东西都是让老人感觉到在医疗照顾感觉到被同理、被尊重，有他的价值在那里。欢迎他们来做我们的义工，我们也会让老人有能力的人来帮我们。慈善是一个实践的一个过程，当他实践了，他会思考。 当他思考，他就明白，他以后潜移默化的时候，对不对？他就会慢慢把东西给表现出来。
Lastly, I represent Great Heart Charity Association. Would like to express our gratitude and appreciation to Kind Malaysia 2021 who offer us this opportunity and platform to share our charity works. We believe we can together build a caring society with deliver positive energy and spread the seeds of love. Thank you.
这个活动宗旨其实是想要提高人们对保护环境跟爱护环境的一个意识啦，从中也希望可以呼吁大家做多一点环保。
良好的习惯必须从小开始培养，干净舒适的环境能让人心情愉悦之余，更能确保每个人拥有健康的身心发展。正确的灌输下一代爱护环境的意识，就能共同保护这美丽的家园。
保护环境，人人有责。
Blindness Warriors Project at Mangrove Forest merupakan salah satu tanggungjawab sosial korporat CSR yang dijalankan oleh Great Heart Charity Association dalam usaha pemeliharaan dan pemuliharaan alam sekitar.
Hari ini dia lebih kepada penanaman semula pokok bakau. Selain itu, kami juga ada kumpulkan sukarelawan kami untuk membersihkan kawasan pesisiran pantai dekat sini.
Terutamanya hari ini bukan hanya dilakukan di hujung minggu saja. Nah, ada beberapa di antara kami yang sanggup mengambil cuti atau cuti dapat gaji semata-mata untuk menyumbang sesuatu kepada komuniti.
第二位嘉宾是更新慈善协会联合创办人严宜川先生。
大家好，老人他们也是一个独立的个体，他们需要被同理，需要被去理解，他不需要你施舍。我们自己也是我们自己的社区中心，然后有自己的中医师，就是都来义诊，这些东西都是让老人感觉到在医疗照顾感觉到他被同理、被尊重，有他的价值在那里。欢迎他们来做我们的义工，我们也会让老人有能力的人来帮我们。慈善是一个实践的一个过程，当他实践了，他会思考。当他思考，他就明白，他以后潜移默化的时候，对不对？他就会慢慢把东西给表现出来。
Thank you, Ms. Tan Mew Wai, for the meaningful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have gained benefit and some insights of the presentation from Spastic Children's Association, the National Council for the Blind, and the Great Heart Charity Association. Before I end the session, I would like to remind everyone to stay online on the Kind Malaysia 2021 virtual platform and visit all the participating organizations. Do not forget to interact with the exhibitors by contacting them through the button displayed on their booth. Don't forget to watch the presentation from these organizations happening throughout the event day. You may refer to the overall program schedule as prepared in the virtual platform. Take a screenshot or a photo shoot of your moments with Kind Malaysia and tag us on social media at Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And with that, I would like to end this session. Till then, stay safe and please take care.